Well, good evening, Sigma race fans. It's been a while. It's been a lengthy break here, and we are going to get back into the action after our summer break. And we left off with the 777 Annual on July 7th last month. Here tonight, August 9th, we are rolling here at RiKi Raceway, the very unpredictable Superspeedway where just about anyone can win from anywhere in the field. Only once has it happened that someone has won from the top 10 starting positions. So as we go through the top 10 here, look at these drivers and maybe consider that their odds are very far and unlikely to pull off the victory here tonight, as you're going to be looking at front row Jimmy Logano and Eli the Wolf. Eli actually a winner earlier this year at Armory Digital Superspeedway, a Superspeedway race winner, so he might have a knack for this kind of racing. Behind that, you have Lucas Holmes and Bradley Ream, followed by James Fireball Robert, who sits second in the points to Taden Berggren, alongside Brian DeBlank. Then it is Tyler Shangle and Finley Herwig, followed by Chris Harvey and Tristan Reams, Tyler Landa and Chad Hertenstein, Tosh Wright and Carson Bowers, followed by the 54 there of Sebastian Galloway Jr. alongside your defending Bridge to Cup champion, Alex Crowther. Fresh off of his most recent win at Las Vegas, Jacob Shangle starting mid-pack here alongside Liz Shangle. Louis Trost and Rich Roy, Kerry Shangle and Ryan White, the new entry for this number 64 machine, followed by the 69 of Lynn Farrell, the 16 of Monty Shangle, Chaz Chadwick, Preston Kundo, Braden Varga, and John Hagan. Kellen Relic and Luis Rodriguez, followed by Nate Newman and Tom Cording. Taden Berggren, points leader, starting deep here tonight, alongside Trevor Walker, Trevor Vaden, Al Bunch, Wyatt Wilkinson, Nathan Bird, or Gannon Bird rather, 45 of Tyler Aspinall, 41 of Cooper Dwight, the 14 of Kevin Xavier, with the last two in the field here, Campbell Marsh, and the 42 of Brandon Butler II. We're rolling here tonight, 223 laps of unpredictability from RiKi Raceway. Expect some chaos, expect some carnage, some fast racing over the top all around all night long. As is customary with our Superspeedway races, if we have a long green flag run with pit stops and they do not get bunched back up, we will throw a competition caution to get them stacked back up. That is only when the Sigma Racing Series comes to a Superspeedway like RiKi Raceway. So that way you're all clued in on the rules, regulations on the Superspeedways. Here we are, lap one led by Jimmy Logano. There we go. Fastest lap from the tail end of the field. Brandon Butler second, who qualified dead last, set the fastest lap already. Apparently has full support of the draft from the very back there to make that fast lap happen. Already shuffling at the front of the field, you got Fireball going for the lead here. Tyler Shangle on the inside. Long winless streak for Tyler Shangle. Very highly noted. Since 2024, he has not yet tasted victory lane for quite a while, and since has lost the title of the winningest driver here in Sigma Cup history. He held that for a handful of years before losing it to his brother Jacob just a little bit earlier this year at New Hampshire when that thing got tied. And look who's in the background lurking, fresh off of his win at Las Vegas. New father. That number 60 machine moving into the picture now. He is the only driver to win this race from the top 10. Actually did it last year here at RiKi Raceway. Started second and won the race. No drivers ever converted from pole. So, bad news for Jimmy Logano, who set the pole here today. More than likely, the odds are against him here tonight. But you have seen a driver come from second to win it. So Eli the Wolf not out of the woods. He could potentially repeat history. that's what's amazing about racing is, you know, sometimes history rewrites itself. 3 wide in the background there. You got a new leader in the 54, Sebastian Galloway Jr. It's going to be kind of the normal here tonight. A new leader just about every other lap. We average about 130 lap lead changes. Well, 130 lead changes throughout the last 13 races that we've done here. So that's averaging, you know, roughly about 1 lead change every 2 laps, which is just absurd. You don't see that at very many tracks, even in real life, Daytona or Talladega. Here at RiKi, it's a whole different beast. And just like that, Chaz Chadwick gets to mix it up front here. That kind of puts together the storyline of this track. It's not about how fast you are, how dominant you are in the middle of the race. It's all about survival. For one, usually there's going to be some big wrecks in the race here tonight. And if you're able to survive some of those big wrecks, you will be able to put yourself in a better scenario towards the end of the race, in a scenario to actually fight for the win. So yeah, it's definitely a unique race, and you gotta be there at the end to win it, obviously. And it's all about being at the right place at the right time. It comes down to the white flag at the race. Points leader Taden Bergeron has a lot to lose here tonight, as double points are right around the corner. What makes Sigma Cup so unique is our double points program. And what will now be the last 14 races of the season, now that we've added Tri-City Raceway as a dual, kind of a bookend for the front of the double points and the end of the double points. So 2 more short tracks added to the calendar at the same track, and it's going to be interesting to see what kind of shakeup that presents for the championship, as only 30 drivers are going to be on the field for Tri-City Raceway. So heat races are going to be kind of a pressure cooker. You got to, you know, make the most of qualifying for those main events, and it'll be interesting. RiKi Raceway, though, no different than the last couple races. 43 cars in the field here tonight, and most of our events with a 42 to 46 car field usually. The only exception is our local tracks. Evergreen, Monroe, you have a 36 car field, and now Tri-City Raceway being added to the Sigma calendar as a very unique addition, track that I built, and it'll be part of our calendar going forward. So excited for my home track to be featured in the Sigma Racing Series. It's going to be awesome. Well, how about this? The newcomer in the 64 machine, all the way up towards the front here, right behind his teammate, the 88 of John Hagan. They're running 1-2 there, and looking to maybe lead his first lap in the 64 machine for Jacob Schenkel Racing. That is Ryan White, your defending Sigma ARCA champion. Got this call up after Sebastian Torres walked away from the ride, relinquishing the seat. Had to make a quick change, and we figured the best was to move up the ladder from below. And that's where we had Ryan White was racing in the unchartered JSR entry. Give him the call up, and here he is now leading his first lap in the 64 machine, and having a good start so far. Tyler Schenkel in the number 7 machine had to go to the backup. Rules with Sigma, we allow for to re-qualify, so he was able to qualify decently with that backup car, and here he is up into the top 10, fighting for a good position early on. But the big, kind of the first pivotal point in this race tonight will be pit stops, and I think we'll take a quick glance here at the pit window with our notes. 44 laps is the pit window, so everyone's going to be kind of racing towards that first 44 lap stint of the race. Green flag pit stops, or perhaps a caution to help kind of break it up. But yeah, this track touted as the great equalizer. You can qualify poorly, spend half the race nowhere, but you can still win it once it comes down to the end. You might be up front leading the race right here at lap 13, but you might be holding up the rear by lap 220. Only once has a driver repeated here, winning at RiKi Raceway. That individual was none other than Jordan Roman with Roman Racing. She was able to start 35th to win it in 2014, and then backed it up with starting 34th to win it in 2019. She has since retired from Sigma Cup competition, but definitely a name you'll see or hear about once in a while, popping up throughout the history books. Lynn Farrell to the top spot in that 69 Pizza Mobile. 18 of Chaz Chadwick in second. He's riding a pretty hard winless streak as well. Here comes Ryan White pushing it 3 wide for the race lead. The Canadian, the ARCA champion from 2025. I guess you can't call him the defending ARCA champ anymore because our new ARCA champion, Derek Hipcam, takes over that honorary role as the 2026 Sigma ARCA Championship had closed up last month. And so, yeah, not quite the defending champ anymore, but definitely the past champion of the ARCA series. And Derek Hipcam gets to hold that notable honor of being the last ARCA champion for now, as we will be putting that ARCA series kind of on infinite hiatus, I guess would be a good way to put it. We might bring it back, we might not. So making room for bigger and better things with our trucks, our Bridge to Cup, and our Cup series. So mostly the recent winners at this racetrack are kind of a unique case, as we will be looking at the drivers that are part of the community, no longer the real life racers like Casey Kane or Ryan Blaney, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Ty Dillon of yesteryear. Since 2023, when we enacted that rule, no real life racers allowed in the field anymore. It's kind of been the Shangle household here at RiKi Raceway. Monty Shangle took the win in 2023. A win against all odds was Daniel Paulus Jr. in 2024, a driver that typically fails to qualify for these events. And yet again tonight, I do believe he failed to qualify to make the field here from the sprint qualifier. You get confirmation. Yeah, Daniel Paulus finished 1 lap down in the sprint qualifier here today, so missing the field as a past winner of this race, that is. And it just shows you the sheer random winners that we get here at RiKi Raceway. And then of course Jacob Shangle winning it last year, so he is the defending champ at RiKi Raceway. Can he back it up going back to back? Very unlikely. As we already mentioned, only one driver's ever won repeat events here, and that was by about a 5-year span between wins. The average winner starts from 26th. 10 of 13 winners started 20th or worse. 6 of 13 started 30th or worse. Only one winner, which was Jacob, in the top 10 start positions. Deepest we've ever had a winner from the race, 41st. And that's, obviously we still have 2 spots back there that could stretch that, since we have in the field here tonight 43 starters. So highly unlikely, but very possible. But Greg Forian started 41st to win it in 2021. Other ridiculous comeback wins include the likes of Ty Dillon, who did 39th to 1st. Jordan Roman holds 2 of those honors, 35th and 34th to win it. Casey Kane, 32nd to 1st. And Dalton Scott, your defending Cup champion, who retired on top, came from 31st to win it one year. There's the definitive average. Track averages about 111 speed changes per race. So of a 223 lap event, it's basically, yeah, the equivalent of every 2 laps. Well, there's a little bit of a breakaway here, it looks like. Your top 8 breaking away from the pack behind them. Interesting development here. New leader, Bradley Ream. He is desperately hoping for something to go right this year. 0 wins, but has had some consistency, at least, to keep him relevant this year. So even without a win, he is setting pretty good in the points. So I pull up the points here. He sits 7th in the points, 3 top 5s, 8 top 10s, but the biggest accomplishment this year is only 2 DNFs. With the lack of DNFs, that has kept him in the conversation for a good fight for the championship battle here, as we are getting down to the last half to the last quarter of the season here. Of course, Tadenberger in your points leader, but only has a 126-point lead over James Fireball Robert. And with double points, a lot of that could change on the turn of a dime once we get into the last 14 races of the year. So for sure, definitely sit back, grab a snack, grab a drink. This one, it's a little different. I mean, super speedway races definitely play out like a conveyor belt, but the wreck could be waiting around any corner. We're going to get some very fun and exciting restarts here tonight, full of chaos and craziness, as we're about halfway through this first fuel run here tonight. 44 laps. You're going to be looking at people probably pitting around lap 40. That, usually is when things get a little bit topsy-turvy. That's when a caution may present itself. If a wreck were to happen, it's definitely during those green flag pit stops. Definitely take a look at all the different leaders here tonight so far. As you can see, Jimmy Logano leads right now with 2. Lynn Farrell, 2. Ryan White with 2. Brandon Butler, the second, with 2. Bradley Reams overachieving with 3 laps led here tonight. Tyler Schenkel with 1. Helen Relic with 1. John Hagan with 4. Tosh Wright with 2 laps led. And it looks like maybe Tom Cording will lead the lap here on this lap. So another guy to the front leading the lap here tonight with the number 30 of Tom Cording. Seems that some of my my hotkeys got a little bit goofed up here, so we'll have to fix that for next time. Heck yeah, gotta love the sponsor shout outs there. It's gonna be exciting to see the new blood for next year in Sigma, as they're all going to be striving to try and get up here into the Cup Series. Kind of a bit of an evolution of sorts with our Sigma universe for next year, with the subtraction of the ARCA Series, but the expansion of our Bridge to Cup Series, which will allow larger fields of drivers to fight to get the right to race here in the Cup Series. trucks, we're going to see them kind of disperse back to a singular division rather than an East and a West. It's going to be hard. It's going to be, you know, a little bit more exclusive as to who gets the seats, who gets to ride, who gets to race. As of before, it was like we were trying to open the door for just about everyone to race here in Sigma. And it'll be a little bit more prestigious. Once you do get that ride, it's going to mean something. And so that's where the silly season for this year is going to set us up for 2027. It's going to be interesting. I'm trying to figure out how to juggle all the newcomers that have joined the server, all the people that are interested to be part of it, and I just hope that I can deliver. Meanwhile, points leader to the front. He's going to get a lap led here tonight. That is Taden Berggren. Braden Varga now as well, with Tyler Landa, Chaz Chadwick, and Kevin Xavier in the mix here. So I'm planning after the regular season comes to a close here, I'm going to work with the new Steel Horse Live mod for NR2003. I feel like we could really make this something special with the Sigma Cup Series, Sigma Truck, Sigma Bridge to Cup, as we can actually add car numbers into the broadcast, try to do more of a natural revival of the broadcast kind of appeal. And from what I've seen, I haven't touched it yet, but I would like to get into learning all the ins and outs of the Steel Horse Live. I'm probably mispronouncing. Is it Steel Horse or is it? Yeah, Steel Horse Live. I'm going to step back. I don't want to jinx nobody here tonight. I just want a good race, a good finish, and hopefully a Holy Grail photo finish at the end of the night, too. This race definitely could present itself for a photo finish at the end of the night if we have enough cars still running in the mix. As you can see right here, they come across the line. And they were singled out there, but there's a lot of times they come across the line 2 by 2. And it could be a photo finish in the works here tonight at RiKi Raceway. Luis Rodriguez, fastest lap in the race now. Here goes Brian DeBlanc for the race lead. I know there's some scuttlebutt on potential drivers stepping down from the Cup Series at the end of this year. I know that Brian DeBlanc has kind of considered his displeasure and would like to step down from racing and maybe just sit back and watch. We're not sure where the pieces are falling for next year, but there might be some seats opening up if there's some drivers such as that are looking to step away from full-time competition. Eli the Wolf looking good here up into third. Pushing Bradley Ream now into the picture. Jacob Shangle in the 60. He's done it once this year where he won back-to-back races. Potentially could try to do it again here tonight. You only get that opportunity if he won the last race, and he has that title to his name right now. Moment though, Bradley Ream to the top spot. No big drama through the first leg of the race here tonight. 36 now, 37 laps about to be in the books. Back-to-back laps led here by Bradley Ream, putting on some strength here now as he's getting a good run going. But I don't think he's going to be able to block the run here of Kevin Xavier, who pounces to the bottom to take the top spot away. Oh, and we got some drama in the background. We're going to let them race back to the line, and then we will go back and look at what brought out the caution here tonight. Lap number 37, first caution here. Bradley Ream's going to get to sail it into the caution period here with the race lead. I did see a championship leader in the mix there. I think Tate Bergeron may be involved with the wreck here. Heartbreak for Ryan White involved in it as well. So let's just rewind back here and see where we can find. There's Tate Bergeron, 3 wide with John Hagan and Tyler Land on the high side. Oh, man. Oh, the aftermath was the hard part there. Taden could have got away with that, but he came back into the traffic there, getting a little bit more damage than he initially was going to get. Yeah, Hagan just cuts him off there, loses track where he was. Crowther, hard hit. Campbell Marsh, hard hit. Tyler Landa. And then comes back into the racing line, collects Ryan White, Liz Shangle, Lewis Trost, and Trevor Vaden. Let's see if we can see some other angles here. That was a non-factor angle. Here we go. So this happened in about mid-pack, about 20-something or other. Yeah, 25th. It's just weird for Hagan to cut up the racetrack into the 43 there. Wow, everyone else just kind of steering clear the carnage there. And that's your first big wreck of the day here at RiKi Raceway. Oh, hard hit. That definitely put an end to the day for the 43 after the second contact there by Tyler Landa. Points leader is out of the race here tonight. And he is going to leave a lot of points up on the table for grabs. He's actually probably going to get dead last, as there's a car that could still get back around the field for 2 laps here, get past him. We are going to be on the damaged vehicle watch to make sure some of these cars are clearing minimum race pace. That kind of came at about the perfect time here, as green flag pit stops were just around the corner. This caution gives everyone a chance to pit, as they have done already. And we will reset and go for another 40-lap push here tonight, getting to around lap 80 before we have to start thinking about pit stops again. As we're under caution here, let's just switch it over to the lap board. And I'll be right back. Well, I think I got that mostly fixed here, so get doubled up for the restart here at lap 42. It's going to be Bradley Ream on the inside, Jacob Shangle on the outside. We're going to get back to the frantic action that is RiKi Raceway here. Caution number 1 in the books. How many more are waiting around the turns here tonight? Already out of the race, 3 cars retired. The 64 of Ryan White, the 23 of Tyler Landa, and your points leader, 43 of Taden Berggren out. That's going to be a huge swing in the points as he's going to end up losing a bunch to his competition here tonight. That's why it's important to get the bad races out of the way now before the double points really sink you deeper in the running order. But of course, with that, you know, we could have a new points leader by the end of the night here if James Fireball Robert is able to step up to the plate. Kevin Xavier to the top spot, followed by Preston Kungo, 85 of Brian DeBlanc, 39 of Wyatt Wilkinson. Sucks that we have to do this, but 67 of Alex Crowther not meeting adequate race pace here tonight after damage sustained in the first caution here. We're going to have to DQ the 67. And for now, Campbell Marsh, we're going to give him a few more laps to kind of get things sorted. Looks like he might be able to stay within a group here, but we're going to have a distinct 2 sets of groups here tonight, as the lead group is to be about 30 strong. And there might be about a 9-car group at the back if they don't get caught up to the tail end of the draft here. Whoa, Xavier, not only does he lose the lead, but he falls back 3 wide, stuck on the high side. Could Jimmy Logano do something that no one has ever done here? Convert a pole to a race win. Still a lot of racing to unfold here tonight, but he was able to avoid the first incident of the night. Definitely not the only incident here that we're going to see, but running strong so far and staying out of trouble. That 28 machine could be a threat here tonight. Charging through the field. You have a pair of Chevys leading the way here. Lucas Holmes, who has got to victory lane earlier this year. Jimmy Logano as well. Both have tasted victory, but it's been a while since both of them have seen it for a while. It's been a month or two, maybe 3 to 4 months for likes of Lucas Holmes there. And then we got drivers like Tara Shangle that has not won in over 3 years. Bradley Ream, who's trying to refine his success from last year after winning multiple races and putting on a championship caliber run into 2025. Yeah, we're going to give Campbell Marsh the boot. Let's see, where is he in relation? 8.34. And we're going to keep rolling for now. Tasha Wright to the lead with a little bit of help from her teammate there, the number 30 of Tom Cording. Once that number 5 drops to 28 seconds, that's when we will go ahead and disqualify. So I'm going to keep this live scoring up so that we got an idea. But with that, you also can see how far the field is separated from first to last, or at least from first to 36th. It is a 2-second blanket holding up the whole front 36 of the field here tonight. That is simply amazing. We definitely had an axe and a lot of dents in that first wreck here tonight for sure. See, I know there's some people out there that definitely despise this kind of racing, super speedway racing. It's kind of a game of chance. It's all random. But at the same time, it's a good thing we only run a couple of these races a year. And, you know, it's no different than real life with the NASCAR Cup Series going to Daytona and Talladega. I mean, you still got to go out there and you still got to lay it out on the line. It takes a different skill set that some people may just not have. And so that's where we see drivers like Denny Hamlin all these years that has not been able to win, you know, some tracks, maybe because of the, you know, the skill set that it takes, or, you know, other, you know, on the flip side, you have other drivers kind of like Carson Hocevar or even Austin Cindric that seem to excel at tracks alone because of the, you know, sheer random chance and luck that is involved with super speedway racing. So at the end of the night, someone will win the race, someone will finish second, someone will finish dead last. No matter what, it's a race through and through. You don't always have to like the format or the method of getting from point A to point Z, but it's definitely, it gives us something exciting to watch here because there's a lot that could happen. Well, I might have another Cup broadcast on Tuesday. Not sure yet, but you probably won't miss too much. The Cup, trying to get the regular season of the Cup here tied down so that we can start looking towards the Bridge to Cup title. As I'm going to start figuring out kind of some bells and whistles to try and really deliver on this Bridge to Cup title, the full Cinda Cup Championship. I'm going to do some fun stuff. I'm going to try to figure out some new broadcast tools and overlays, and try to at least utilize everything that the NR2003 community has to offer that I can utilize in broadcasting. So. Now we're going to go ahead and Campbell Marsh is getting the DQ here tonight after falling too far off the pace. Next in line is going to be the 29 of Lewis Trost there, and 37 damage on his car seems to be holding him up a little bit as well. So we'll keep this ticker up to avoid the danger zone. We don't want to have a big pile up with the leaders. So damage control from race control to make sure the slow cars are sent packing here tonight. It's not my favorite thing to do. I hate doing that to a driver because you never know. We could have a big pileup somewhere in the middle of the race, and one of those drivers could still have a car capable of winning if they were able to get the lucky break, but I don't want that to be at the expense of the safety of the other drivers involved with clean cars right now. As it sits right now, we have 36 cars all within the lead draft. That's a large number of cars that could potentially get wadded up if we allowed a slower car to enter the picture here. Here comes Tasha and Tyler. Brandon Butler from dead last in the field all the way up to the race lead. I believe we probably will. That'll be September 11th, I think, is usually Patriots Day. Usually we try to run one around, is it Veterans Day? Oh, I'm thinking of Veterans Day on the 11th of November. Let me look at a calendar. Surprisingly, that is the one day that we have scheduled free from a Sigma racing event. So apparently, no, I don't have one scheduled for Friday the 11th. I guess in honor of the holiday, actually. Didn't do that on purpose, but that just is the way it worked out. Okay, so we should be out of the woods for now, unless the 55 is a threat. And I don't think he is, because he's actually with the lead draft. So if he could get the wave around here tonight, get back on the lead lap, all he needs is 2 cautions, and he'd be back in the mix, even though he's 2 laps down. Chad Hertenstein leading the race now over Jacob Shangle. Tyler Aspinall, Tyler Shangle, Monty Shangle, your top 5. The Shangle Brigade running strong here at lap 62. Here comes Kara Shangle as well, so the whole household right up there in the mix, minus the 50 of Liz, who was involved in that wreck here. First caution here tonight, but there's definitely a chance that a Shangle could seal the deal here tonight. Look at Monty. Monty and Jacob both could become the first of 2 drivers, or the second driver basically, to get a pair of wins at this very tough to tangle with track. You got Kellen Relic here, who is riding a very long winless streak. Let's look back in the history book to see when the last race that Kellen won. So Kellen was, in fact, winless in 2025. I do say he did win in 2024, if I remember correctly. Yes, he had 2 wins in 2024. Last race that he ended up winning was all the way back at Brands Hatch 2024, which happened to be March 8th. So he's riding a pretty steady 2-year winless streak. 87 car there. His team car ahead of him, the 81 there of Al Bunch, the 2024 champion that year. They had to switch to Dodge this year after Jaguar stepped away from Sigma Cup. The new initiative banning electric-only vehicles. But what a weird turnaround, as going into 2027, electric-based models are going to be allowed on bridge-to-cup cars, but they still have to produce a gas-powered engine in the race series. And they can always get a white label motor produced by someone else as long as it's a gas-powered engine. They're allowed to race it, and they're allowed to have the electric branding on their car. Kara Shangle leading the race now. She's going to have to defend against Lucas Holmes. Tyler Shangle with a good push here as well. .223 laps here is no joke. It's definitely it's an endurance race here, and it tests even the best of the best to try and get to the end without, losing their brain. Tyler's going to the lead here. Not yet a winner, although he has started all 13 events here at RiKi Raceway. His stat log looks a little bit something like this, even though he's never won. He's had 2 top 5s, 4 top 10s, and a best finish of 3rd. Starting every race here, but never to win it yet. Same with Kellen Relic, except he's only had 10 starts at the fabled track. 0 wins, 2 top 5s, 4 top 10s, and a best finish of 2nd. Liz Shangle, 0 wins, 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, and she's had 11 starts here. Only 3 drivers have started all 13 events: Monty, Jacob, and Tyler Shangle. Very unique. If you've been in it long enough, eventually it's going to stick and you're going to get the win. But for Tyler, even 13 races is not enough to get the first win here. Definitely, it's like a roll of the dice for sure. Kind of singled up at the front here, but they keep breaking down on the single file push and go doubled up for the front here. Look at that. Wyatt Wilkinson to the lead, taking it over from Bradley Ream. Tyler Aspinall with a good push here. Behind him, you got the 54 of Sebastian Galloway Jr. mixing it up with the leaders now. And all the Kyle Busch tributes out there in the field. It's always nice to see the tribute schemes to Biffle, the tribute schemes to Kyle Busch, and we definitely got a lot of it on display here. Tyler Aspinall, man, it has been kind of hard for him to get back on top of the horse after kind of, starting his Sigma career on top, and it's definitely fallen off the side of a cliff here. Switched from Ford to Honda, and they're still trying to get the Honda dialed in. But it's he's here to stay. He ain't going nowhere. He's going to try to make it work. It might not be the most glamorous, the most competitive, but he's going to find a way and he'll make it work. Jacob to the top spot again. He's going to try to hold off the 85 of DeBlanc at the line. Does so, leading the lap here. About 10 laps short of another round of pit stops here tonight. One caution marked the first stretch of the race. 150 laps to go now, and pit stops right around the corner for sure. So what's interesting is the fact that we only have 2 drivers in the field here tonight that are past winners. That means absolutely everyone has a shot to win for the first time here tonight, if that name doesn't happen to be Jacob or Monty Shanker, the only 2 drivers in the field that have won here previously. Give it a couple of years and we'll start to actually develop some real stat lines that are pretty notable, as we're starting to see some of our diehards kicking it. Oh, and there's a wreck right at the front of the field. That's going to be a nasty one. Oh boy, 76 laps in, and that might very well be the big one here tonight. The front of the field surviving. I did see the likes of Finley Herwig involved in the mix there. As we get to the line, slow down for the caution. Let's see just how bad this wreck was. So from 10th place, that is Finley Herwig. And right behind him, the 45 of Tyler Aspinall. I've got a feeling some big names are going to be knocked out here tonight. I see the 16 of Monty Shangle, the 60 of Jacob Shangle, 2 of your most recent winners at the track here. And the 45 gets into the 85, and the pileup just ensues at this point. Monty goes for a spin. Finley, man, maybe minimal damage on the 68, but that 16 is kind of toast. Yeah, the 12, I think, just got into the 45. Wrong place, wrong time. I'm amazed there wasn't more drivers involved in that wreck there in the melee. Our second caution for the night. Finley might not have too much damage. As you can see, 3 wide at the lead there. The track just gets very narrow here, very quick. Wow. Just barely got hooked there by the 85. That might be a hard enough hit on the 68. Could slow his car down a little bit. I'm amazed the 16 Amani. They got it fixed up all right. They fixed out the wrinkles in the hood. 60, just a little bit of side damage. We'll see if that holds him up any. And we will go ahead and give the wave around to the 55. Yeah, we got really lucky that we didn't wad up half the field in that wreck. And I think everyone's still going to be able to return, at least for this restart. We will see how long they're able to maintain minimum race pace, but could potentially walk out of that with minimal retirements here. And of course, the perfect time for a caution as we were getting towards green flag pit stops anyways. Sets us up for yet another perfect pit stop scenario, getting everyone fresh gas, fresh tires, full tank of gas, and reset for another 40-lap stint here tonight. Well, as you can see, Lucas Holmes about to get his 11th lap led. Chris Harvey was 0. Brian DeBlank with 5. Al Bunch was 0. And Tyler Schenkel with 1 lap led. Other notable lap leaders, Bradley Ream at 11. Wyatt Wilkinson with 4 laps led. And Tasha Wright 4 laps, as well as Kara Schenkel 5 laps. John Hagan with 4. Something to be said is, you know, 1 lap led here is impressive in its own, even though it is a random crapshoot. You still have to be hitting that lottery to get up front and lead even 1 lap here sometimes. So 143 laps to go. That's what was insanely amazing about the one race here in I want to say it was 2020. Let me look back here. Howard Schuler in 2020 won the race after leading 116 laps. So he literally led half the race. That is unusual stats that we don't usually see here. Usually it's spread between 30 drivers leading 3 laps apiece, rather than one driver leading 110 laps. Not seeing that domination here tonight as we're already starting to roll our way towards the halfway point. A couple drivers in the double digits, but it's really just about anyone's game here tonight. Even after the wrecks and the chaos, the carnage that we have seen. Looks like Monty is at risk of becoming the next DQ here tonight. Braden Varga, Carson Bowers. Luis Rodriguez is trapped behind the slower traffic here now. Finley Herwig, man, I didn't think he had that much damage, but the front end damage is definitely hard to decipher. Looks like Jacob might be the tail end of the field here of the lead traffic. And he's going to be able to stay within about half second if he doesn't lose the draft there. And that's for where these drivers, if they could get the opportunity to work on their cars before the disqualification, you might see a resurgence later in the race. But yeah, it's going to be hard to allow that to roll around the racetrack. We'll have to keep our eyes on it here. And if they're lucky, maybe the opportunity presents itself that we get a big one before they fall to that 28 seconds off the lead where they need to be DQ'd. Roll of the dice. No matter where you look here, it's all a game of chance. It's a game of luck. And sometimes you're the windshield and sometimes you're the bug. I do have a good feeling here tonight that we might see either a new winner or someone potentially breaking a long winless streak of their career. This track tends to lend itself to some of those big surprise winners. We haven't seen a lot of those big surprise winners lately, so it'd be kind of neat to see it again here tonight, of course. Damn, it's not looking up for Monty here, as he is now falling at about a 6-second per lap plateau. Tough break for Monty Shangle, as he is going to get the disqualification here tonight. Give it one more lap, but yeah, 25.6. He's about to go a lap down next lap. Ouch. There you go. Tristan Reams now takes the top spot here from Eli the Wolf. Braden Varga is a little bit further back, but it'll take some time before they catch up to him, it looks like. Kershangle in the 51, not yet able to secure victory under her new married name. Last time that she won was when she was Carrot Carl. It still blows my mind that she has not been able to find victory since her rookie year in 2022. Having a good run here now, up to third, right behind Trevor Walker. The great equalizer that is RiKi Raceway. Probably the best chance in a long time that she could get up here and fight for a win. Her one and only career win came at Kansas. Kind of an unusual comparison of tracks here, but there's really no comparison at all to the skill sets involved with racing at Kansas to RiKi Raceway. So perhaps just the right place, right time here tonight. We will see if she can convert. Still 135 laps to go. Good run going so far. Now we're going to have to DQ number 9 now. He's 26 seconds back, and he's falling like a rock as well. 35th disqualified out of the race. Finley is next, but we're going to give him a little bit more leeway because he's only 3 seconds out of the lead. So I was looking at the 40s, so we will give them a shot if the leaders do catch them here. They might be able to merge in with the lead. 3 seconds off the pace is not too terrible. Versus about 6 seconds is where they were looking really bad. But regardless, we will keep our eyes up on the board here to make sure it doesn't get any more dicey. If they're getting any slower than what they're actually running right now, then we may or may not have to step in. This race definitely feels like the setup to try and get yourself to the last 15-20 laps here. It really is kind of like that. You just survive, you kind of go through the motions, slipping and sliding around each other. Just try to survive and stay alive. I kind of agree with that. I feel like if you're not within like Cody Ware's status of slow, then you should be able to at least have a chance to fight for it, get a lap back if you do fall a lap down. Because there's a lot that could happen, that a slow car could still win this race if half the field were to get tore up, or even 3/4 of the field were to get tore up, and you just find yourself with the right drafting group right at the end of the night. Dropping another 3 seconds. I feel like 3 seconds your leader should be able to kind of maneuver and catch them without too much hassle, especially that they're running side by side. This could be the method. Once they catch them with the lap traffic, if they get side by side, kind of hold up the lines. That way no one gets an advantage. But at this rate, they're going to catch them in 2 laps here. So just hold on to your seat. It could get a little bit turbulent up the front of the field here. Slowly reeling into the halfway point here tonight. 111 laps will be the halfway point. And for the drivers that are dealing with the downs of this racetrack, probably already hoping that the night we're done in some cases, or maybe looking towards next year when they can come back to this track and etch their name amongst some of the greats on the trophy at RiKi Raceway. Regardless, 34 cars still very much alive for the drive here tonight, and there's no telling what could be waiting around any corner here tonight. There's still more than half the race left to go. There you go. They're going to catch lap traffic, and maybe, just maybe, they'll get in and mix in with the leaders. Give them the benefit of the doubt by losing the draft. Maybe they can actually work with the leaders, try to, you know, steal a lap back once the caution comes out. There you go. That's what you want to see typically. Not a roadblock, not a car wreck, but just merge and blend with the leaders with class and respect. Looks like it's going to hold them up a little bit. 3 wide for the race lead. Here goes Tyler Schenkel to the bottom side. Chris Harvey as well. Looks like Finley may be able to merge and get back within faster lap times here. 38.3 was his last lap time. Your leaders ran a 37.8. So Finley's car may not be all that bad if they can get a little bit more patchwork done on the next pit stop. Maybe get the lucky dog this next caution. He could be a threat potentially still to fight for a good finish here tonight. There you have it, James Fireball Robert up to the front. This could be huge in the grand scheme of the championship points battle, as he currently sits second to the guy that is credited with dead last here tonight. A big point swing. He's going to be looking to try and maximize points gained here tonight, because he could close that gap down to at least double-digit territory with a good run here tonight. And double points ahead on the horizon. That 95 team is trying to set themselves up primed and ready for the championship battle. KBM no stranger to the championship. They were in it last year to fight for the win. Braden Varga didn't get the job done, but was clearly a candidate for the championship and even Rookie of the Year honors. Had things gone a little differently, maybe he could have, but still was able to settle for Rookie of the Year honors at the end of it, and just short of the championship, bringing home the overall title. Well, with the lap traffic kind of stressing out the field a little bit here, they got bunched back up and they're fighting back forward. Next car to go a lap down will be the 60 of Jacob Shangle, which seems like his car, with a little bit more TLC on pit road, could get that thing running a little bit stronger after the damage he had from that last caution. We have a prime candidate for a first-time winner if he can get the job done here tonight. Lynn Farrell in the 69. Wyatt Wilkinson in the 39 as well would be a potential candidate for first-time winner. And what about Kevin Xavier as well, the 14 for LFG Motorsports, looking for his first ever Sigma Racing career win. Wyatt Wilkinson knows victory in the ARCA series, but never a Cup winner. Other than that, the other two drivers have never won anything in Sigma competition. They've never won it in ARCA, trucks, bridge to Cup. So if they were to get it done, they could get it done in the top tier of Cup for the first career win of all. Have not put much emphasis into Rookie of the Year for this year. Sebastian Torres was putting on a decent consideration for Rookie of the Year up until his departure. But currently Preston Kundo holds the honors of being the highest running rookie this year. Brandon Butler the second. He's in fourth. I believe this would be credited as his rookie campaign as well. But other than that, you've got Jimmy Logano still technically Rookie of the Year honored. Luis Rodriguez, I think, is. Wyatt Wilkinson may not be, but he might still be eligible this year as well. But that's kind of the mix. And then, of course, Finley Herwig 20th in the points. I feel like the best way to do that would be to maybe go back through and rescore some of the stats and stuff to figure out some honorable Rookie of the Year stats. Do it kind of like I've done the years past with a separate point system to truly, put them head to head rather than up against all the other non-rookie drivers when honoring them at the end of the year. So once I get through this stretch of the regular season and get the double points on my to-do list, then we can look at maybe some of those other point scenarios that I haven't looked at yet. What I'm planning to do here is today, tomorrow, and Tuesday is to run the last 3 regular season Cup races. Since I've got the time to do it, figured I might as well hop on and knock them out. And we're catching lap traffic. And that will get us kind of set up and squared away for the double points to start in September as they were scheduled to be. So it'll give me pretty much the remainder of August for the Cup Series to try and work on some other fun stuff that I was thinking of doing. Definitely want to get the Steel Horse Live set up, and that'll be, I think we'll start exclusively maybe with Cup, but if I get it figured out quick enough, I might have it ready for the Olsen to Cup Bridge to Cup Championship push title as well, so we'll see. I just got to get through these next 3 days here for the last regular season cup races. That way we can have the points all tallied and we can start building on that. We're slowly working our way towards the halfway point here tonight. Brandon Butler, the second, who qualified dead last in the field here. If you look at qualifying. Actually, my bad. 42nd, Campbell Marsh was credited with 43rd. Which we've only had someone come as far back as 41st. We've never had someone come back from 42nd to win it here. So Brandon Butler, to match the door number there, started 42nd here tonight. Could he shock the field with a big upset win? He's going to have his hands full with the likes of Al Bunch, Tyler Shangle, pair of prior champions here in the Sigma Cup Series. How about that for Chad Hertenstein up to third here? Toyota has not yet won a race here in 2026, so the likelihood could increase here at a super speedway race such as this that he could find victory here tonight. He's just got to survive the next half the race. 111 laps in, 112 laps left to go. We are officially at the halfway point. Dealing with a little bit more lap traffic again, 3 of which are blocking the progression of your leaders here. Now we're really setting a kind of a rapid pace here tonight. 1 hour and 20 minutes to get to the halfway point. That means we'll be probably closing it out just south of the 2.5 hour mark. Remaining races on the regular season calendar after RiKi Raceway, we have Michigan and Pocono. So quite the trifecta to close out the season here. A lot of fast super speedway action. Michigan and Pocono I kind of credit as super speedways since they are 2 miles or larger. Right here at RiKi Raceway, 2.25 miles the distance, so kind of a unique super speedway layout. But it's pretty much full throttle all the way around the track. They don't drop much below 215 miles an hour, which is absurdly fast. And when they do wreck, it's usually pretty bad. Tonight, most of the drivers have gotten pretty lucky to minimize the damages that they have sustained here tonight. We still have 30 cars on the lead lap. Might be running towards green flag pit stops here shortly if we don't get another caution. Quite the polarity of the field here. We got 42nd in the qualifying with Brandon Butler the second. Second on the grid, right there in second, the 94 of Eli the Wolf, and your pole sitter of Jimmy Logano now back into the top 5 here tonight. And don't forget about Sebastian Galloway Jr., that 54, kind of hanging around up front, doing a good job at surviving here tonight. Surviving and thriving 54 Toyota Monster Energy Kyle Busch tribute car there, having a good run here tonight. As we're past the halfway point now, all he's got to do is survive the second half. And that would be another potential Toyota that could get victory here today for Toyota for the first time. That would mark all but one manufacturer going to victory lane this year. Subaru is the 8th manufacturer. We have 6 of the 8 manufacturers to park it in victory lane this year. Toyota is very likely to get one before the end of the season. I guess I just had to go there. I couldn't resist the opportunity to potentially predict something exciting, but no jinxing. We're just gonna keep calling the racing like it is. Good battle here for the lead after Galloway takes the lead. It looks like he's gonna maintain the lead for a couple laps here as he's gonna hold Preston Kundo at bay. Up to third again, that is James Fireball Robert. Chad Hertenstein up into fourth. And the 42 back up into the top 5. Kind of grand unknown, the 71 of Rich Roy. We don't often see fight for race wins, so tonight at the Great Equalizer of RiKi Raceway, it seems like he's got a solid chance to fight for a good finish here tonight. Golly gee, we have green flag pit stops here at RiKi Raceway. What a treat. What a wild, crazy treat. Half the field breaks down to make their first pit stop under green flag action here tonight. Doesn't look like we're going to get a caution under this. But we're going to keep rolling. Your race leader now, Brandon Butler the second. So regulations with Sigma Superspeedway, we will throw a comp caution if need be. Looks like Brandon Butler is going to stay out a lap longer. So you got about a 6-car stalwart staying out longer than the rest of them. But if they were to re-merge together all in the same group, then we wouldn't bother throwing the comp cautions. So 7 cars yet to pit under green flag pit stops here. Looks like every single one of them now making their scheduled pit stop here at lap 124 with 100 laps left to go. Potentially your race leading group here. Looks like the 85 Brian DeBlanc, followed by the 54 Sebastian Galloway Jr., the 39, but look at that. There's going to be a couple more that merge out ahead of them, playing the strategy game to their favor. Rich Roy is going to take potentially the top spot here once everything shuffles out, but look where the last of your pit stops, they start rolling here. Are they going to be able to merge in amongst the leaders? Oh, who's going to be close? It's going to be the 42 getting out there with the race lead, even under green flag pit stops. What a miracle. He's going to get freight trained though, but mixes it in right there in the top 5. Doesn't lose much of a spot at all. Just like that, I don't think we're going to throw a comp caution because we still have quite the group up the lead here. 10th place broken off into so what we'll do is we'll make it a beneficial factor pit stop. That way we don't have any weird, crazy. We're going to wait till about 80 laps to go. Throw that comp caution. That way we can get them staggered and set up for the last 2 stints here at the end of the night. Because it is kind of broken up. It's pretty spread out here. But meanwhile, Rich Roy, your race leader, followed by Lynn Farrell and 42 of Brandon Butler the second. Down to 94 laps remaining here. In 14 laps, we will throw that comp caution to help kind of set things up. It's kind of funny, NASCAR actually did a lot of this, kind of the same method as what we're doing when they restaggered the pit stops for the stage breaks for Talladega this last time. They wanted to shake it up so that there was less green flag pit stops and more of a finish, you know, to be had with regular standard pit stops kind of ignored in the grand scheme of the race. So we were doing it here with the Sigma Racing Series before NASCAR decided to adjust stage lengths at Talladega. I found that kind of funny when they did that this last Talladega race. I'm like, oh, you mean like what I've been doing with Sigma Racing Series the whole time? Kind of funny. It's like I have an idea for all these things before they become a reality of a rule change and stuff. Here goes the 54 on the attack, looking for the race lead again. A little bit of lap traffic mixed in there helped slow the pace, the 85 down a little bit. 91 laps remaining here tonight from RiKi Raceway. Sebastian leads that lap, but Wyatt Wilkinson is going to dive in there to try and take the lead away from him. Drivers looking to get the lucky dog. It looks like the 17 of Trevor Vaden. And we'll go ahead and give the wave around to the 16 as well. And a couple more laps added for the drivers that are trapped a couple laps down. Still a lot for grabs here tonight. Only 2 cautions. The comp caution coming here in 8 laps that we will restack them and re-rack them. Give everyone a valid. Actually, I'll take that back. I'm going to let this roll through the next round of green flag pit stops. There's no reason that we need to throw a caution. Let them race for it. We might even get the natural caution if we let them race for it here too. So it is very much spread out through the field. We will have at least 1 comp caution to get things stacked back up within the last push of the race here tonight. A lot of good racing up here with your top 10, top 10, top 8. Starting to build their stats here tonight to try and rack up the most laps led. Get the bonus points that come with that. If you look right now, the driver in the mix, 13 laps led for Brandon Butler II, 15 laps led for Lucas Holmes. 14 laps led for Bradley Ream, but he's all the way back in 29th, so he's gonna need that caution to get back in the mix, something fierce. But other than that, just about everyone in the top 10 with a lap led. And a little bit further back, plenty of drivers lap leds here tonight. We might actually get 2 green flag pit stops here tonight. That would be wild. Doesn't happen very often, and this could be a very unique circumstance if we do. And honestly, I kind of like the natural feel of a race that plays out without any manipulated cautions, and we could see it just, you know, maybe come back together where the field gets connected on that last run, maybe never even have to throw the comp caution. Fair. We'll make that happen. I've always wanted to do like Monster Energy with the FedEx paint scheme, where it's like all the different Monster flavors, kind of like Denny Hamlin did back in the day with FedEx Freight, FedEx Express, FedEx Air, and all that. FedEx Freight. It would be cool to do that with Monsters somehow. Do like a blue Monster, a white Monster, a black Monster. Do a mango Monster. Do the fruit punch Monster. And just kind of mix it up every race. But if I did that, I'd want to make sure each and every scheme was a banger. I didn't want to just knock them out to knock them out. It would be cool to have multiple Monster Energy, you know, entries rather than the typical black Monster Energy car. Viking Berry would be a pretty cool looking scheme. You know, honestly, just taking any of the cans and taking the artwork right off the cans and putting them on a race car. I don't know why Monster hasn't figured out how to do that yet, because you know, Ty Gibbs's car would look pretty cool if they changed it up once in a while. Freaking Riley Herbst, his car looked almost the same as it does every week. They just threw a Pac-12 logo on there, the 12 college division, Big 12 or whatever, and it's like it's the same black Monster Energy car, just with a 12 on the hood now with the Monster. Great battle here in the top 10. A lot of potential for a first-time win here tonight. 4 of your top 5 looking for their first career win in the Cup Series. Is that actually on the lead lap? Yes, Gannon Bird on the lead lap, running in 8th. That would be a 5th driver in the top 9, seeking their first career win here in the Sigma Cup Series. I think it sounds perfect on a Mercedes. I honestly remember, quite frankly, the Mercedes, the Lewis Hamilton years, and he always had Monster on his helmet when he's running at Mercedes. So I feel like that's kind of like almost a perfect fit, honestly. Have Mercedes and Monster together, and the M pretty much kind of goes in unison with each other. I would be open to bringing the Mercedes back in favor of maybe dropping Subaru out. Subaru has not been able to perform, and it has a place for the driver that wanted to have Subaru, that was passionate about Subaru, in Adam Starr, but we will keep him in the series, maybe just in Bridge to Cup, and open the door for a new manufacturer, kind of an outskirts manufacturer such as Mercedes, come back into the fold here in the Cup Series. So yeah, I'm all for it. Either that or Pontiac. If we're to bring back Pontiac full-time as well to the Cup side, that would be cool. But if Mercedes is the direction we're leaning, then we go Mercedes for sure. For the LOL, LOL, I don't know how they say that. For the lulz, right? Basically, Dogecoin. You got to keep the Dogecoin on there. You can't forget about the Dogecoin, even though it's worth like $5, I think. Or last I saw it was like $7. 76 laps left to go. Green flag pit stops will factor in again here if we don't get another caution. But good thing is, if we do get another caution, it'll basically make this a two-stopper. .75 laps to go. Eli the Wolf has the fastest lap in the race here tonight. From second on the field, he's trying to convert to a win. He won the season opener this year at Armory Digital Superspeedway and has not been able to convert to much else since then. I find it funny that Cody Smart and his Tesla entry for next year, Reddit can confirm, considers it to be a very cursed entry. So, yeah, we are opening the door for the cursed card here in Bridge to Cup 2027. I'm kind of for it, though. I mean, I feel like the cursed side of things kind of fits like that tow car or some of the more like NASCAR Racing 2003 random moments. We're trying to uphold kind of a civilized but also kind of whimsical series here. I don't want it to be strict and dictate, you know, I don't want to be a dictator, and obviously there's some lines we won't cross, such as no politics, no religion, then, you know, of course, no adult-only themes, but even then I'm kind of lenient on allowing like Blue Chew and Viagra, so it's like, where do I draw that line? That line kind of fades after time and gets rewritten in a different direction, but regardless, I feel like morally we are keeping it on the straight and narrow, and it just makes it more fun for everyone else involved. So but that's what makes it fun. It's kind of a what if. This whole series has been a what if scenario. Even back to the original days back in 2010 where we allowed real life racers, it was kind of the what if scenario. If we allowed, you know, maybe some World of Outlaw racers like Steve Kinzer, Donnie Schatz, or even Joey Saldana to go out there in a stock car. Something that we don't get to see in real life, and we've been able to kind of recreate it in a video game to give us that kind of perception of what reality could be like if given that opportunity. Thanks to the Sigma Racing series, we've been able to kind of at least predict or simulate what it would be like to have IndyCar racers racing in a stock car, which is what I've enjoyed the most. We've been able to expand to a larger community of people that have ideas and concepts that I want to roll with, and allow them to have freedom of speech to project within reason, obviously. And we've been able to do that very, very well, and it's been a spectacular little project of ours. Yeah, and that's what's fun about it. You get to have that. I mean, that's kind of the whole concept of Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise. He was a ex-USAC driver, IndyCar basically, and he went to race stock cars. They don't really dig very deep into his past as a open wheel racer, but that's definitely his backstory, and it's in kind of the vein of that we do that in NR2003 with the Sigma Racing series, that we give these, you know, storylines for drivers that you wouldn't often see getting a chance to race a stock car. Pato O'Ward, he was a Sigma Cup racer at one point in time. We had him in the Aero McLaren number 5, just like his current residence in IndyCar with Aero McLaren. A couple wins to his name in the Sigma Cup series. Definitely dig Pato O'Ward. He was the champion in the Indy Lights when I went to Portland the first time in 2018, and I got to watch him do burnout victory right in front of me at Portland. That was pretty neat. So I've always been a fan of Pato O'Ward. But yeah, no, we had him in a Aero McLaren number 5, and we also had Fernando Alonso, El Plan, in the Sigma Cup Series, driving the number 29 for Aero McLaren. It was pretty cool having some weird names, I mean, off the wall. We even had Lando Norris winning plenty of races here in Sigma Cup at one point. And so it's in the past. Obviously, Sigma Cup has evolved past that, and I mean, it's not to diss on allowing it. I mean, I've kind of petered with the idea to maybe doing something like that again, allowing maybe some more current NASCAR drivers to maybe do a one driver charter to get in the Sigma Cup Series again. But we'll see. At the moment, I feel like I might reserve it for my hometown driver, Casey Klein, who's moving up the ladder, and maybe get him into a Sigma USA truck for next year. Well, we are down to 63 laps left to go. Your top 9 still pretty much set solid here at the front of the field. Green flag pit stops are likely around the corner here, as we'll be looking at 2 more stops to the end of the race here. But man, they are stretching it to another green flag pit stop. No cautions in between the first round of green flag pit stops, and now we are charging towards that second set of green flag pit stops here. Yeah, the IRL driver conversation is one that we can maybe look into, but I would love to keep it exclusive for the community here. And if we wanted to, maybe a long stretch, maybe a random, maybe some crown jewel races thrown in. And oh, what in the world? This is out of your top 10, a wreck happening with some big names in the mix here. Brian DeBlanc, with nowhere to go, just gets taken out. I don't think they're done wrecking yet. Oh, they're slowing up. They're trying to get around the 71 here. That'll bring out our third caution here with 59 laps to go. And this creates kind of a tough spot for that strategy that I was talking about. Because now they're going to pit, and it's going to be a 19-lap window that they have at the end of the race here tonight, which otherwise is not as perfect as a 40-lap window. In a 40-lap window, now it's going to be down to a 40 and a 15 roughly. That is just the most bizarre wreck. Oh man, he comes back up the track collecting Luis Rodriguez. I don't know where the 71 made the disconnect there. See if it's his fault or maybe the 90 gets into him here. Tasha just clips his left rear and the 85 gets hooked. Tasha hard hit, Lynn hard hit, DeBlanc a hard hit as well. So, and then the 55 gets sandwiched into the wall there. Okay, so we're going to give the wave around to the 17. Alrighty, time for the chaos to commence as we have 55 laps left to go. One more pit stop is going to be needed here tonight, and they're probably going to be pitting with about 15 laps left to go if they don't get a caution within the next 15 laps. Resetting the field here for the restart. It's going to be the 42 of Brandon Butler, the second, alongside Wyatt Wilkinson, Cooper Dwight, and Sebastian Galloway Jr., followed by Gannon Bird. Lucas Holm, your top 6. They're all stacked back up together. 36 cars still running here tonight. Few of them trapped a lap down or more. But 55 laps to go. It's pretty much anyone's game here still to get the win here tonight. They've been pretty reserved when it comes to racing over the top of their head. But that last mistake is definitely an indicator the drivers are getting a little bit more exhausted out there. It's a long day of racing here from RiKi Raceway. And trying to maintain consistent laps for 223 laps at 220 miles an hour is it's absolutely hard to do. Keep that concentration is one thing, but getting fatigued and doing it all without blinking an eye sometimes just wears you down faster than anything in the world. This time by 52 laps to go, 3 wide from 5th on back. It looks like Tyler Schengle holding on to 3rd here. Chad Hertenstein in 2nd. Preston Kundo up to 4th. Tyler Schengle would love to break the snide, get back into victory lane where he has not been for over 2 years. At a track too where he's never won before. Could be a game changer here tonight if he was able to get the win and start building that resume back up in his favor. His brother took the all-time wins list away from him, and that's not something that they take lightly. I mean, the brothers, they are going to duke it out for the all-time wins until the end of Sigma. And there's no end in sight. We don't know when that end is going to be. And the two brothers, they will duke it out no matter what. From green to checkers. We're probably on like lap 50 of 500 with Sigma Cup Series. 50 laps to go. Tyler's got the lead, but he's going to have to defend against some very hard chargers such as Tristan Reams and Sebastian Galloway Jr. Your pole sitter back in the mix again. That is Jimmy Logano in the 28, creeping his way back into the picture here. Could he stun the field, becoming the only driver to ever win from pole position here tonight? It's impressive to be back in the mix with 50 laps to go after all that does happen at these races. You get up front, you start up front, you drop to the back, cautions, shake things up, contact with other drivers may knock you down a notch, but still have the ability to fight back and get in the mix when it matters most, right at the end of the night. 3 wide for 2nd place. That's going to be Kara Schengle going on the inside to take over that spot from Jimmy Logano. Bradley Ream and potentially one of our new points leaders, James Fireball Robert, if he can get the points locked down here tonight. They're all chasing right now the 54 of Sebastian Galloway Jr. The ex-Formula One driver make the move over at Sigma Racing to try and better his career, and he has done just that. He's in the mix for the full Cinda Cup, Bridge to Cup Championship this year. He's hoping to secure a full-time Cup ride for next year. Hasn't been able to get the wins, hasn't been flashy in that department, but he is right on the edge, looking for that first career win in all of Sigma. As he falls back to 5th for now, it's all about being in the right place at the right time. And how about that? The 81 of Al Bunch, who has had a dismal year, looking to get his luck turned around. That 81 has not seen victory lane for a while, and it's actually quite concerning after a season where he ended up winning 15 races in 2024 to win the championship. Back that up with another solid season of wins and a top 5 in the points at the end of last year, coming up short to Dalton Scott's gamble for the championship. Al Bunch is winless in 2026, and it's a matter of time before they start figuring it out, but I don't know about that Dodge platform if it's up to speed for them. That's right, yeah, you won the truck race at Brands Hatch. So Sebastian does have a truck win to his name. My bad. But as far as that goes, I mean, he has not yet found it in Bridge to Cup or Cup. Jimmy Logano and Eli the Wolf back in the mix. Your top 2 from the start positions here today, running in 4th and 5th. Well, it looks like Sebastian gets stuck behind Al Bunch and drops way back here, all the way back to 17th. I don't know what happened there. They got stuck up on the high side and fell backwards and have to rebound, as your top 15 kind of has a bit of a breakaway at the front of the field here. Top 10, actually. It's top 15, actually not quite. It's hard to say. The numbers don't really catch up as quickly as they should. It's only the top 12, correction. 3 wide at the race lead. That's going to give Preston Kundo the top spot. And wow, they almost made contact on the exit of turn 2 there. That could have been a wreck. 3 wide, and that's going to help the rest of the field get bunched back up as they continue to shuffle at the front of the field here. Karashangle is going to lead the lap here at lap 182. That leaves us with 42 laps to go, and that opens up the window to where we can almost get the last pit stop in any time now. But because that caution fell where it did, we're not going to see anyone really pit until about 15 to go if we stay green the whole way. They're getting bunched back up here. The 85, after getting wrecked on that last caution, he's still soldiering along here in the top 20. Actually about to get into the top 15 here with a very heavily modified 85 machine. Damage on that car notable, but it hasn't slowed him down one bit. Lap traffic's going to hold them up a little bit. That looks to be the 90 of Tasha Wright. And she's about 4 seconds off the pace, but her car doesn't look half bad. As they get bunched up here, it's going to hold them up on the high side. Wow, they're wrecking, almost wrecking. The 90 needs to get out of the way. If I would have caught that sooner, I probably would have DQ'd the 90. Not really meeting minimum race pace here. And they still are having trouble getting around her at the moment. Man, all these other cars are really not that far off the race pace. This one here, Carson Bowers, though, about 3 seconds off. Well, the TD Bank, number 19, leads the way of Chris Harvey, defending against the 15 of Tristan Reams there. Kind of a top 10 car breakaway at the moment. Did not honor the disqualification on this last lap, so now he's going to end up in the midst of your leaders, holding them up. Good thing he got to the bottom as soon as possible there, and we avoid any form of chaos. Could have been bad. It's not over. Everyone that's still in the group here, they can get back to the lead draft pretty easily, especially since that lap car kind of broke up the lead draft. Your top two driving way too far ahead. That's going to bunch them back up behind. Wyatt Wilkinson's going to go side by side, but that's only going to bring the rest of the field back to their back bumper. Ideally, I think we still have about 26 cars in the mix for the win here tonight. Easily, still 26 cars that can get the job done. Brian DeBlanc may be the first out of the mix here. Trevor Vaden and the rest kind of way off the pace there. There you have it, your top 10 bunched back up, and even 15th on back right in the mix as well. This is what we love about RiKi Raceway. When you think that your chance has been dashed and completely erased, miracles do happen at this racetrack. The draft helps in mysterious ways, and they get tightened back up like no other. And so when it looked like lap traffic that kind of ruined the race here, we still have 33 laps to go, and the whole lead group is back in one kind of combined group again. This is what makes RiKi Raceway so awesome. And even now that I mentioned that, we're still kind of broke up into two groups at the moment. But that's likely going to change before the end of the race, especially since we got pit stops still to come. One more round of pit stops, whether that's green flag or brought upon by a caution. We'll see. Mixing it up for the race lead, your pole sitter, Jimmy Logano and Chaz Chadwick. followed by Tyler Aspinall. The complete unknown of Gannon Bird, who's never won a Cup race before, and Eli the Wolf, who has figured it out on these super speedways. Wow, Al Bunch takes the undercut. He takes an extreme undercut here, pitting way earlier than expected. About 15 laps short from the projected. Oh, he had a flat tire. So flat tire actually forces Al Bunch to get off strategy here. And he might be able to get in with a little bit of drafting help, but if he's not with someone to draft, that's going to cost him dearly. .30 laps remaining here tonight from RiKi Raceway. 15 laps, and likely we'll see green flag pit stops. Yeah, the 81 is at the moment a lap down. 1 lap down. Him and the 55, Luis Rodriguez, both 1 lap down in 30th and 31st. Jacob Schengle is 2 laps down in 32nd, and Finlay Herwig 4 laps down in 33rd. The rest of the field has been disqualified or retired due to accident. Comes Kara Schengle in the mix, that 51 car. The Biffle tribute schemes on full force, full display. Only Monty and Jacob have been able to park their Biffle tribute cars in victory lane this year. It'd be nice to get a couple more of the Biffle tribute cars to park it in victory lane. Kara's had a good night. Tyler Schengle's also had a good night. But the great unknown of the next pit stop is still luring in the background. Back in the lead draft, I can see that 54. Sebastian Galloway making some hay. Tyler Schengle as well. Chris Harvey and a few others. Big gains here at the end of the race to try and get back into the picture. How about the number 20 here of Nate Newman? This car has been severely underpowered all year. But when you bring it to the great equalizer of RiKi Raceway, it kind of eliminates all the downsides to the race cars that typically have bad horsepower, low production, and just overall the lower budget teams. But for whatever reason, RiKi Raceway brings the best out of even the most underfunded teams in the field. And Nate Newman's having a good run here tonight. Top 20 in the works. Could be a top 10, maybe even more if he gets a lucky break here. Meanwhile, the 95 James Fireball Robert leads the race. Look, laps led here tonight. Lucas Holmes at 19 laps led. Brandon Butler the second with 24, so we actually had a driver get into the 20 laps led bracket. Those are your top two so far lap leaders of Brandon Butler the second and Lucas Holmes. Amazingly, there's someone in the top 10 that has not led a lap, and that is Preston Kundo in third, who's not yet led a lap here tonight. Crazy. Pretty wild when you actually have drivers that leave here without leading a lap. That's harder to do than leading a lap. Here's Tyler Shangle on the low side with a good push from Brandon Butler the second. We're not going to DQ any of these drivers because they are within 1 to 2 seconds of their fast lap times. So it is not out of the realm of possibility that your leaders have to deal with some very dense lap traffic here at the end. But when do we start seeing those green flag pit stops factor in here? How about Al Bunch, who already made his pit stop? Might be a lap down, but if he's in a good drafting position here with a couple of teammates there from KBM, could he potentially work his way into a position up at the front of the field once this cycles through? We have lap traffic, the 68 of Finley Harriwig, 19 of Chris Harvey's trying to avoid getting stuck behind him. He's going high, going low. Now he's going to find the high side to get around the 68. 94 follows right around him, but 68 I don't think is going to be as much of a rolling roadblock as they would think. He's going to kind of merge in with the traffic here and get into the draft. Might be a little slower, but working with the leaders, it might not be too bad. Especially when you have more lap traffic ahead, that's really going to spoil the party here. Wow. Al Bunch is not far off from this lead group. If there were some holdups, he might be able to get back within the lead draft and start making up time before pit stops actually factor in here. So that could be interesting to watch there. Al Bunch definitely sitting on a long, odd strategy here. When you mentioned that the 45 and the 19 could potentially be the worst winners there. 2 laps led by the 19 and 4 laps led by the 45. So I kind of see that angle on it. That's like, yeah, that would be the most unceremonious win here tonight for a couple of drivers that did not really hold the candle here tonight. Got to give them credit, though, for showing up and trying to give it their all. It's never easy here. They've done just enough to be in the mix all night long. Lap traffic is playing the joker here tonight as your leaders are definitely getting shuffled up with 15 laps to go. But when will we see the last round of pit stops here tonight? When do you drop down pit road and make that move? It's going to be hard to decipher because there's so few laps left in the race to actually make it feel justified to pit with 15 laps to go. It's going to be tough. The advantage is you get to come down for a quick gas and go, maybe a spare on the tires, but Still, it's definitely a risky gamble. There we go. There's at least one taker down pit road, but that's of the lap traffic. 60 of Jacob Schenkel making his pit stop here. Very unconnected to your lead group here. What I am going to do, just for safety's sake, we are going to enable green-white checkers if we need it. Hopefully we don't, but there's always that chance that we get a very late race caution with about 3 laps left to go, and we need that green-white checkered. There we go. There's your first group of pit stops going down to the 87. Man, it's a 2-car pit stop. That's brutal. Not much for drafting help as they pull off. That's your lap traffic again. Okay, so still yet to see our lead traffic make a pit stop. But it's coming. It's right around the corner here. No one's going to have enough fuel to stretch it. Ideally, the perfect scenario would be everyone pits at once. But that would be true extreme chaos. Everyone pitting all at the same time. It would be hard to make it work. Okay, we're getting our first scattering. 95, the 50, the 17, the 85. These are the drivers at the back end of the field already. Keep your eyes on Al Bunch. I don't know where he's going to shuffle out, but it could get interesting. Meanwhile, your race leader, it is Sebastian Galloway Jr. with 12 laps left to go. How experimental do you get here? The 26 is going to stay out. He's going to inherit the lead. Kellen Relics right now trapped a lap down in 30th. Al Bunch ahead of this 87, so he's already made up some ground from his unscheduled pit stop for a flat tire. Believe it or not, Al Bunch has beaten all these people that just came off pit road as well. A few spots ahead, let's look and find Al Bunch on the field. A big group of pit stops happening here. There's Al Bunch in 25th, credited with the second car 1 lap down. Flat tire by the 20. Nate Newman, after we were talking him up, he gets to retire here tonight with a tire failure of all things. That is uncanny, very unusual. I don't think he's made up enough ground though. So this is going to get back to your leaders here. And it looks something like this. I think the 85 may be your leader. No, he's about to go a lap down. He's going to shuffle around to Sebastian Galloway Jr. 10 laps to go. And there's a couple that are going to be coming off pit road here right with him. They're behind him. So right now, Sebastian's got the advantage. But how far out is he, and how much of a sitting duck might he be without any drafting help at the moment? With 9 laps left to go, Sebastian has the race lead. His lap time a 37.376 with kind of scattered drafting help here. The 85 and the 69 both significantly damaged. But the rest of the folks that are just now getting kind of globbed back together here. It's crazy. Al Bunch has worked his way up to 22nd after all that. And Sebastian has a 2.5 second lead. He's got lap traffic that is going to help him significantly here. They're going to both play blocker. I don't know if they were coordinating this together or what, but this in its own seems pretty wild, pretty crazy. The 2 lap cars kind of add a bit of a buffer for Sebastian Galloway Jr. with no draft help, might I add. Doesn't have anyone ahead. and he's only got the 2 slower cars behind him to help block the advance of your leaders from second on back. Definitely not a comfortable spot to be in for Sebastian with 7 laps to go now. Second place, it's going to be Fireball Robert. And they're getting right up to the back of the lap traffic that are going to slow them down a little bit. 85 kind of drafting with Sebastian here, maybe helping him a little bit. They're going to kind of merge together here. 85 blocks the advance to the 95. 95 is going to cut low, and that's going to disturb the draft here. But the good thing is that'll slow the draft up a little bit and allow Sebastian to merge together with them like nothing happened here. Crazy things have happened here at RiKi Raceway, and now Sebastian is going to have to defend. Comes down to this right at the end. All he's got to do is hold off or fight with these 4 drivers. It looks like we only have about 4 cars stabilized here for the lead. Sebastian can defend, or he can decide to set back and put himself in a position to fight for it at the end here. Falls back to third with 5 laps to go. Preston Kundo on the inside of the 95. Sebastian needs to get down that bottom line ASAP to avoid losing more ground here. He does. He cuts right there across Liz Shangle on the number 50 machine. And he's right there behind the hot rookie, Preston Kundo. 4 laps remaining. Who's going to get the job done here tonight? It is getting good right on down to the wire. Lap traffic ahead. Leaders are going to have to mind their P's and Q's. And it's the 68. Finley Herwig's been here all night in the revolving door of laps down. But has really not been hasn't really spoiled the whole party yet. The problem now is that the 54 is stuck behind the 68. He's going to use that, though, as a pick. And look at that. He's going to get around the 68 of Finley. This gives that 77 a big advantage. But he's going to be a sit and duck just like Sebastian was moments ago at the front of the field without any drafting help. So perhaps a strategic move to get the 54 in a position here to fight for the win. More lappers. The 77 is going to hit them first. We're staying green. The white flag will signify the end of the race here, but if we see a caution before then, there is overtime in the forecast, but only if we get a caution. Sebastian's going to fall back to 6th here, and your leaders are going to swap it up a little bit. 41 of Cooper Dwight's right there, the 45 of Tyler Aspinall. Preston Kundo's holding this lead as well as he can. Staying green, I don't see a caution. We're probably going to be all the way to regulation here tonight without any overtime. Coming to the white flag, 1 more lap to go. Preston Kundo holds the lead. Here comes Tyler Aspinall. The rest of the field behind just trying to get stabilized together to fight for something. There's not much there to fight for at the moment as they have drove themselves away from the rest of the field here. Tyler Aspinall might be able to dip here. 3 wide for the race lead. No, it's going to be Lucas Holmes. dipping on the 45 and trying to make the move for the win himself. I don't think he's going to have much room to make the move, though. The 77's keeping that bottom line blocked. Preston Kundo, a winner on a short track this year, is now a winner at the Superspeedway. Second win for Preston Kundo, and he's third in the points. Yeah, number 12. I'm not going to be able to live it down. Still a top 10 run for Sebastian Galloway Jr. What could have been? There's still many opportunities with Pocono and Michigan that could really change things up here for some of these drivers looking to get that first career win. But with all that drama, it was a driver getting their second career win tonight, not a first-timer. Preston Kundo, 2 wins on the season in his rookie campaign. Good run from the 77 of Preston Kundo. He only led 6 laps tonight, but he led one of those 6 that mattered the most, and that was the last lap here at RiKi Raceway.
Do you have any ignition problems?
Well, folks, we're back in it here with the Sigma Cup Series. I think we started off with a blast here tonight from RiKi Raceway. Some great racing action, Superspeedway battles, and at the end of it all, second win in his career for Preston Kundo at that number 77 Dodge Charger here tonight. So, like I was mentioning, I would like to try and do the next 2 races over the next 2 days, so feel free to keep your eyes peeled as we will be trying to get a couple more Cup races in the books here for this next week, and then we'll have another long break before the double points segment of the Cup Series. But that long Cup break only means that we're going to have kind of a jam-packed August with the Bridge to Cup, Full Send to Cup, and even the truck, the W West-East Chase. August is going to be packed with championship battles all the way down to the wires. So I think everyone's been more hyped up and excited about this Bridge to Cup battle, which is coming to fruition here in August. And I want to get it prepped and ready. I want to do some extra graphic things on the broadcast to try and really drive home the production value. So with that, thanks again for tuning in tonight, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed the broadcast. And without your support, it wouldn't be much. So thanks again for all your support and continued following of the Sigma Racing Series. We've got 2 more races in the next 2 days, and then we will start looking towards the Bridge to Cup Full Send to Cup Championship. Have a great night, everyone. Stay safe out there. And until next time, this is Jakester signing out.